Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to look at the WZ113. We're going to talk about it. We're going to decide whether it is a good tank or not. So it has its ups and downs. Some people love the tank. Some people hate the tank. Me personally, I think the tank is absolutely fine. I think it does have very good strengths, and of course it does have very good weaknesses. So I'm not going to have a game. I have the perfect game to showcase this this tank. So we're going to look at the stats, and then we are going to get into that game. So you do have a very strong turret, 275 millimeters. So you know it's a very strong turret that if you are in a hold down position, you will get a lot of bounces. Now it does have a hatch that can be penetrated, but again making it hard for the enemy to penetrate that there, and then you know it can be difficult if you're sort of moving. You have to make it hard. Don't just sit there still. Make it hard for the enemy if you are in a hold down position. Now the hull on this thing is kind of weak at 125. The upper plate's not too bad. The lower plate obviously is weak, but as soon as people switch to the premium rounds, then they can penetrate pretty much anything at the front. So yeah, the very good turret and a very poor hull. Now the thing with the tank, it's got no gun depression. So yes, it's got a strong turret. It doesn't have a strong hull, but it does only have 6 degrees of gun depression, so not the end of the world, but of course it isn't the best. It could do with a little bit more. In hindsight, it could do with a little bit more. Now it does have fantastic DPM at 3047, and that is with running calibrated shells, so you can even get that even higher if you run it with the rammer, but I think you should run it with calibrated shells just to give it more pen. You've got a reload of just 7.88, which is nothing really for a heavy tank, very low for a heavy tank. Your penetration is 272 on your APCR, and the reason you should run calibrated shells because you can get the penetration up to 390 pen, which is very good for a heavy tank. 73 on your HE. You've got a 400 alpha gun, 360 on your heat and 490 on your HE. Your aim time is pretty good at 3, and your gun dispersion not so good at 0.344. And again, you have 6 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 45 kilometers per hour. So yeah, it's not a bad tank when it comes to speed. The turret traverse, it isn't the quickest. So that is one of the negatives. I mean, the turret traverse, the track traverse, sorry, is kind of slow. And that's always been the case, even from when we even first tested the tank. Like the traverse on the thing was very slow. Now, this game by Itty Bitty Chess Committee, what a name. Very good name there. He plays it fantastic. Honestly, he plays it brilliantly. It has everything that you need, and it showcases all the weaknesses and it showcases all the strengths. So he's going to push to the left side. Now again, you've got to remember you do have a strong turret, so you do have to try and use that to the max. You've got a very strong turret, and not many people will be able to penetrate you if you are in that hold down position. But to get in a hold down position, you've got to think and decide where you want to go, because you have to make sure that you can use your 6 degrees of gun depression. If you're on a big hill like here, for example, it's not very good because you can't get your gun down. So he's going to adjust. He is going to adjust, trying to get into a better position. And again, because of the penetration, he could have actually penetrated that Minotauro. Unfortunately, he did hit a bad point. Now, these red team are going to start pushing forward. Now, luckily, the WZ, no idea why he was shooting HE there, only does 100 damage. So he could have got him for a bit bigger, and he is now getting shot from behind. So at the moment, you're looking, and it's not looking good for the WZ. Apart from that WZ11114 in front of him, who's still shooting HE, it's not looking too bad. Now, the VK could have come and helped the WZ to clear the 113 a lot quicker, but he's decided not to. And that was a bad move, because you've got the Destiny there again, who isn't looking. They're all leaving the WZ just to deal with the WZ. And we already know who's going to win this battle. Now, at least the WZ has started doing damage, but as you can see, he's now lost most of it, well, he's lost half of his hit points just against this one guy. It's very, very early on, so he's got over 5 minutes still to go through the rest of the battle, and with a lot of hit points less than he would have liked. He wouldn't have liked to lose that many hit points against one tank. At the moment, they are losing. It is a 5 versus 6, but again, with the DPM of this thing, anything is possible. Honestly, you're going to out DPM most heavies that come against you. So if you are sort of one-on-one with a heavy tank around the heavy route, you will most likely out DPM them, because again, you've got one of the best DPMs for a heavy in the game. It's absolutely crazy. The reload, just 8 seconds, honestly is very, very good, and that is what makes the tank. Really, the DPM really does make the tank. And again, I know I said it does have decent armor when it comes to your turret, not so much your hull, but for me, this tank always has and always will be about that DPM, because it's just fantastic. That like 3000 DPM, and again, you can get that to like 3200, almost 3300 if you run it with the rammer, but again, because of the penetration, I definitely wouldn't run it with the rammer. You have to run this thing with calibrated shells, because if you need to, at least you know you can switch to the calibrated shells and you will be able to penetrate pretty much anything that comes in front of you. So do bear that in mind if you are grinding the WZ. Now, the WZ113 isn't a bad line to grind. I mean, there's better lines out there to grind. The tier 9, I mean, the tier 8, they're not the greatest of tanks, but honestly, I still think it is definitely worth the grind once you get to the 113. Now, as I said at the start of the battle, the start of the video, not everyone likes the 113. Like, there's people that really do struggle in this tank. I don't know why. Maybe, you know, again, unless you're in certain angles, certain positions, it isn't the greatest of tanks. It's just about DPM. But if you do manage to get on a ridge and you do manage to use the 6 degrees of gun depression that you got, then you can bounce quite a bit of shots, just like he has done here. Now, he's only bounced 890 damage at the moment. It's a 2 versus 4, so there's still a lot of work to do. The VK is pretty much a one-shot. He gets a nice bounce there from the Sheridan, who he is going to leave because he's now going to try and deal with the STB. Now, unfortunately, he did go for the HE, which is the right move. He could have penetrated, but he just hit the wrong part. So he's going for the STB because the STB doesn't want to know him. He, of course, wants to deal with the bigger gun. He wants to deal with the one shot, which again is the right move. So now with 1100 hit points, he finds himself against a 1 versus 3. Now, 2 of those are light tanks and a medium tank, which have DPM. So the STB has very, very good DPM. However, so does the 113. What he does here is absolutely fantastic. Goes for the track, keeps him there, and hitting that track just allows the STB not to run away. Like, without that track, he may have got away and he may have run away, and you know, the game could have actually changed just because he hit that track. It changes dramatically. So it's now just him versus the Badger. At this point, I'm thinking, you know what, easy win. Badger's AFK. No, he's not, but he is still full hit points. Now, at this point, it is DPM versus DPM, because this guy has a lot of DPM. The Badger is one of the most, the highest DPM tanks in the game. And he's a full hit point, so it's not going to be easy at all. But what he does here, he doesn't want to go for the shot, so he lets the Badger go for the shot instead. Now, even though he bounced the shot, that was a fantastic move. Like, knowing that he probably can't, well, he can't penetrate that guy with his APCR, so he had to shoot heat. And with the sort of bricks there, he knows he couldn't shoot heat through the bricks. So what he done, he was literally just side scraping, and he made that guy shoot first. Like, unfortunately, it was a bounce, but what a move that was. And not many people do that. A lot of people would just shoot, destroy the bricks, and then take a shot. And what he's doing here, I mean, to be fair, the Badger is making it easy for him, but he's still got a lot to do. He's still got to bounce these shots. He's still got to bait these shots, because if he just comes out, he's a 2-shot, and the Badger has fantastic DPM, like pretty much better DPM than the 113. So the Badger does make it easy for him towards the end of the game, but you know, there's still a lot to do. And the fact that he hasn't lost a single hit point against this Badger, I mean, I think that point the Badger just gave up. But what a battle that was. 3,000 880 block damage, along with just over 9,000 damage, 9,100 damage. You get 6 kills, and you know what? A well-deserved ace. Like that battle there showcases just how good the 113 can actually be. It shows that you can bounce. It shows it is vulnerable as well, so you can get penetrated. But it also shows just how raw that DPM is, just how vital the DPM is. Now, got to give it to the enemy STB. Like, he done a fantastic job, over 6,000 damage there, and he tried to carry the team as best as possible. And then you can see the Badger right at the end. He did nothing. Like, he made the tank look really bad. Like, but the tank is fantastic, but that guy made the Badger look really, really bad. So GG to Itty Bitty Chess Committee. What a name, as I've said. And that is the 113. Again, in the right hands, it is an absolute brutal tank. Let me know your thoughts on the WZ113 in the comments below. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all soon. Bye-bye.